everyone, Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, canning recipes, a little bit of everything, and it has been a wild week this week. It's been a wild season for this here garden, but we continue to work it, and we're going to keep on working it. And you may remember my last video, I showed you how the green beans weren't doing good, and that we were going to add compost to them and add compost to some of our other plants, which is what we did. I'm going to show you how that worked and show you some of the problems that we're having. But this week, my goodness, Tuesday, let's see, Monday it was like 98 degrees. Tuesday it was 101. And then Wednesday morning I woke up and it was 57 degrees with a north wind here in Texas in June. It has been very nice evenings here. Like this morning at 64, yesterday it was 62. So the mornings are really a great time to get out in your garden and work on everything and do your hand pollination of your squash, which I've been doing. I'll show you how that panned out. Do some weed pulling, do some trellising, anything that you need to do in your garden. Now is the time to do it in the mornings. We expect to still stay in the 60s for the next week or so. I hope that this trend continues because it'll help my tomato bushes to continue to flower. But we've struggled, guys. We've struggled this year, and we've pretty much narrowed it down to the soil, the living earth soil. So as you've seen from my previous videos, then our raised beds we use the living earth soil, and boy, nothing happened. I mean, everything just died off, and I know some of you have commented, and I thank you for confirming some of our suspicions that soil just didn't hardly have any nitrogen in it. No matter how much we fertilized it and watered it and tried to get it going and used fish emulsion, it just didn't help. So what we did is we went and got a load of compost, as you may recall, and my husband has gone in and modified those beds. One of the beds we had to pull completely up because it just wasn't doing anything. He did take those plants from the front bed, front raised bed, and put them into the back raised bed after he modified it with the compost, and we're going to see how that goes. We still have many more months of growing season here in Texas. We usually can grow through October, even though the tomatoes stop producing as soon as the temperature gets up to about 78 degrees in the evening or at night. We can still keep the bushes alive, and we tend to start getting more tomatoes into the fall. Even if they're green, I can set them out and they'll redden up before a freeze. Now, we've had early freezes the last couple of years, but I don't know what we're going to have this year, because I tell you what, we have endured lots of different things in this garden. So we've had bad soil, we had the frost in April, we had the tornado and the heavy rains about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. My goodness, we have just encountered all kinds of things. There's been no bees. So we're starting to see the bees come back, thank goodness. And my husband has planted all these flowers, and it is bringing in the bees and some of the other pollinators. So we're seeing some improvement, but I still am going out in the mornings and hand pollinating. And remember, you need to do it in the mornings because that's when your flowers are open. So let's walk around, let me show you what's going on, and tell you what we plan on doing. So first, let's take a stroll down my green bean rows, and you can see they look pretty pathetic, but they're still producing. In fact, I got, like I said, 8 pints of green beans, but I'll show you where the majority of those came from. But we're keeping them watered. We did put the compost on them. Some of them started to improve, not all of them. So this has been really a struggle, guys, this year. So my cantaloupes, my French petites that I love and that I harvest my seeds from every year because you can't find them anymore, are looking really good. I hope that I get quite a bit out of these. Cucumbers are looking good. You can see I have some growth in here. Ooh. Can you see that? Yeah, there it is. So here we go. Starting to see some bees in here pollinating, and so I'm excited about that. And here are my squash plants. So again, I've been coming out here and hand pollinating. I've gotten quite a good harvest. I've been able to share with friends and family, but look, things are looking so much better. I'm gonna have to get in here and do some more hand pollinating to make sure that these fruits set and that I don't get that blossom end rot. The squash spray that I showed you guys a while back seems to still be working. I'll have to get in here and spray tonight. I don't want to do it in the morning because I don't want to affect my bees. So if you're going to use that spray, do it in the evenings. Ooh, there's a squash bug right there. I'm going to have to come in here and do some spraying and some squashing. possibly some fertilization today as well. So let's see, I know I saw a little zucchini in here. Yeah, there's me a zucchini. So again, I've gotten about 10 bags vac packed and put in the freezer for me and my husband, and very excited about that. If you need to know how to do that, there's a video out there on how to preserve your squash and zucchini. But look at these flowers, guys. They have just really come in beautifully. My husband is so proud. He's worked very hard with them, and he just scattered the seed, and we kept them watered like crazy. And our grapes seem to be doing good. So you can see my grapes there. Hoping to get some grapes from here this year. We have a net over it to protect them from the birds, because you can see they're sitting there on the fence just wanting to get them. So here's one of the tomato plants I pulled from one of the raised beds, and it is bouncing back. This is one of my mortgage lifters, so I'm glad to see that. Again, we have still so many more months of growing season, and I'm really praying that these continue to prosper. This was moved from one of the beds, this was moved from one of the beds, and you can see they're already looking so much better. These are the tomato plants I planted by seed. So some of you can help me out here. I think this is a mold. And if any of you have, I've tried some other recipes, some organic recipes of mold control. If any of you have a recipe on how to knock this back, please let me know. I really do not want to use a commercial fungicide, but I will if I have to. Fungicide, excuse me. So these are my Roma tomatoes I planted by seed. These I planted by seed. And you can see, look at my bell peppers. They're starting to come in. They're looking really good. This is looking better than I had last year. Last year we didn't get hardly any bell peppers, but I anticipate getting them this year. These tomato plants, I'm afraid, what I've learned, guys, is that after that 13 inches of rain we got with that tornado and that flood, I started getting the yellow mold below, and I pruned them back pretty heavily, and I think that I might have damaged them. So be careful when you do that. You do need to do that, but I think I pruned them back too much. But again, please let me know of your recipes if you have any. So I do have some fruit on my tomato plants, and I'm going to keep fertilizing them, and I'm going to keep on going. But I tell you what, they don't look like what I normally have. So my beets are coming up. They're still going, and I'm going to keep them in a little bit longer. But you can see I got some pretty good sized beets in there that I can use to do some sugar beets. So I'm happy about that. There's a nice one. So here's an overall look of the garden. Lots of things going on, and lots of work this year. So my hubs has come in here and modified this first raised bed. He dug it up, dug out some of that living earth soil and threw some compost in there, and we mixed it up really good, and we're trying to revive everything that was in that front bed. And honestly, guys, everything's already looking better. And what we were thinking is that these tomato plants, they do take a while to grow, and if they start to produce as we're getting close to a freeze, we'll cover this raised bed with plastic and try to keep them going. So this is going to be kind of an experiment, and I'm going to show you another experiment. So we have flat pulled everything out of this bed and put it in that bed that I just showed you. So what I'm going to do, I've been watering this down, and my husband has come in here and modified this soil as well. He's dug it up, put some compost in there, rotated it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to put some bush beans in there. And the reason why I'm going to try that this year is because we have this handy dandy shade cloth here that I think, and I'm hoping, that if I go ahead and get some seeds in the ground on these cool nights and stuff, they may go ahead and germinate and start to grow. And then when we get in the heat of the summer, we can pull that shade cloth down and see what we get. And again, it's going to be an experiment. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try, because I got hit so hard with the bad soil in my garden. So if any of you want to know what bush beans really should look like instead of those in my main garden, this is it. This is in my other raised bed in the front that we built a couple of years ago. And this is where I got the majority of my 8 pints of green beans, just off this small group of plants. So see, guys, you don't need a lot of room. If you just build, this one is like maybe 8 feet or maybe even 6 feet by 4 feet. And we got 8 pints of green beans so far. And I expect to get more, because these still have quite a few flowers on them. And they are looking very healthy. And they are looking very beautiful. Thank the Lord. But you can see, these are growing nice. So I'm going to keep these going as long as I can so that I can, look at this. You just turn these over and look at all those beautiful green beans in there. Praise the Lord. Here's our garlic, and it still seems to be going good. I think that these green beans actually are helping it in here because it's shading them. Garlic normally takes a while and it doesn't like the heat. But let's look at my ginger and my turmeric. So they are coming up, ginger and turmeric. And this is a new experiment for us this year. So we're excited about that, and we'll see how this goes. But look. So you can see a big green bean over there. So up front, what you see the dead is my spinach. I let it bolt and I let it dry out. So what I'm going to do today, simply, is I'm just going to cut off these stalks about right here. They need to dry a little bit because they have the morning dew. And I'm going to cut them right here, and I'm going to put them in a lunch bag, a brown paper sack. And I'm going to shake it around, and all the seeds should fall out after it dries out today. So that's how I'm going to save my spinach seeds. Need to get in here and do some weeding. This is that old nut grass that comes up, but it's very easily pulled up. So here's a view of the garden with the sun, the beautiful sun coming up. So we are still going. So what's the moral of the story this year, guys, is you got to keep on going. You got to keep on going even when you come against adversity in your garden. You don't stop. You keep working it, you think of new ways, you try to find out what's going on, you get help from others, and that's why I'm asking if you guys have a recipe for my tomato plant so I don't have to get a commercial fungicide. But I am happy with what we're getting. I just wish we got a little bit more, but hey, the Lord gives us what we need. So I hope that you guys are being safe, and I hope that everyone in your family is healthy. And I know I got some comments in there that I need to go in there and answer, and I will get on those today. So forgive me, it's been extraordinarily busy. And anyway, so take care. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. It's time to start getting your seeds on hand and planting for your fall garden. Depending on where you're at, we can start planting here in August and September for the fall. You need to start getting your seeds now. So you can make sure and get ahead of the game, because a lot of people will wait till the very last minute and then they'll go order their seeds and they won't be available. So get out there, get your seeds on order for the fall, and even go ahead and order you some for the spring garden next year. Start keeping those on hand. We don't know what the future holds, but the Lord does. But we need to always be prepared, just like Joseph. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, God bless. And the June project. The June project is still on schedule. I'm excited, I'm nervous, but we will hope to have some news maybe by next week or the week after on what's going on. But I'll tell you that it has to do with the USDA. Very excited about that. So stay tuned. Be sure and like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to our channel, and have your friends subscribe if they're trying to garden here in these adverse environment of Texas. So take care, God bless, have a wonderful weekend.